You know how sometimes a headline just grabs you, but then you dig in and realize, wow, there's so much more going on.
Absolutely. It's rarely simple.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. This incredibly fast, almost whiplash-inducing shift between intense fighting and this really fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran.
The very tense situation.
Our goal here is to unpack that timeline, look at who's involved, and the immediate fallout globally. And just a reminder, all our info is current as of today, Tuesday, June 24th, 2025.
Right. It's a fast-moving story.
So let's lay it out. The conflict really seemed to ignite around June 8th, is that right? With missiles starting to fly.
That's the reported start date, yes. And then things heated up significantly on June 13th.
Ah, yes, when Israel launched that surprise barrage inside Iran.
Correct. They attacked several sites. Their public reason was needing to stop Iran from getting nuclear bombs, claiming an imminent threat.
Okay, so that's the initial spark, or at least a major escalation. But then the U.S. gets directly involved.
Yeah, just this past Sunday, June 22nd, the U.S. military reportedly hit Iranian nuclear facilities, Fordo and Natanz.
Even though reports suggest President Trump's own intelligence didn't think Iran was actively building a weapon right then.
That's what sources claimed, yes. A bit of a disconnect there, potentially. And the IAEA, the nuclear watchdog, they did confirm damage later.
Damage and possible contamination.
Potential localized contamination, yes. Though Iran's state media claimed those sites were evacuated a while ago, trying to downplay the impact, you could say.
Right, managing the narrative. And the retaliation cycle just kept spinning. Monday, June 23rd, Iran hits back.
Reportedly, yes. A missile strike aimed at a U.S. military base in Qatar.
Any casualties there?
Thankfully, no reports of casualties. And interestingly, Iran's president apparently expressed regret over that specific strike later on.
But there was more happening too, right?
Drones. Alleged drone attacks, yes, targeting bases in Iraq where U.S. troops are sometimes present. Again, no casualties reported from those incidents.
And Israel didn't stop either. They reportedly hit Evin prison.
That's correct. And also allegedly struck Karaj near Tehran. Reports claimed 7 Revolutionary Guard members died, including 2 generals.
Wow. And the UN Human Rights Office called that Evin attack a grave breach of international law. A lot happening right up to Monday.
It really shows how quickly it spread beyond just Israel and Iran. The U.S. involvement, then the direct targeting of a U.S. base, it really upped the stakes. A dangerous escalation.
Definitely. So after almost 2 weeks of this back and forth, this constant striking, suddenly a ceasefire.
Quite suddenly, yeah. Monday night, June 23rd, President Trump announces it, a fully agreed ceasefire.
And he called it the end of the 12-day war, even suggested it could be unlimited, go forever.
Optimistic language, perhaps. The timing was set for early Tuesday morning, just after 5 a.m. GMT.
Global timing. And Israel agreed.
Reportedly, yes. About an hour after Iran had apparently indicated, we'll stop if you stop. So for a moment, it looked like relief.
But it didn't last long, did it?
Not at all. Just a couple of hours into the ceasefire Tuesday morning, sirens reportedly go off across northern Israel.
And Israel immediately says Iran launched missiles.
That was Israel's claim. Iran's military quickly came out and denied firing anything after the ceasefire started. So right away, conflicting stories.
And Israel's response?
Their defense minister reportedly ordered attacks to resume, accused Iran of a complete violation.
Adding fuel to the fire, Iranian state TV then reported another nuclear scientist killed.
Mohammad Reza Sadeghi Saber, yes. They blamed an Israeli strike that same morning, Tuesday the 24th. So the ceasefire was immediately under immense strain.
It really makes you wonder how stable this can possibly be.
Exactly. And President Trump was reportedly furious. Not happy with either side, apparently, but maybe especially Israel for those morning actions.
There was that phone call with Netanyahu, right? Reportedly very firm and direct.
Yes. Call back the planes, he reportedly said.
It's enough. And Netanyahu's office confirmed they did hold back on tougher strikes after that call.
They did confirm that, yes. Though Israel apparently still struck an Iranian radar site, claiming it was in response to those alleged earlier missiles. It shows the immense pressure needed just to pause the fighting.
And Trump also tried to clarify, saying he wasn't after regime change in Iran.
Right. He stated he believed Iran could rebuild, trying to perhaps de-escalate the rhetoric a bit, even amidst the frustration.
Amidst all this high-level drama, we can't forget the human cost. The numbers are awful.
They really are. As of today, Tuesday, June 24th, Israel's reporting 28 killed during those 12 days, over 1,000 more affected injuries. anxiety.
We saw those images like that building in Beersheba with a huge hole from a reported Iranian missile strike. Just devastating.
And the reports from Iran. A human rights group based in Washington mentioned at least 974 killed. Iran's own health ministry cited 610 deaths, over 40,700 injured from alleged Israeli strikes since June 13th.
Plus, Israel's ambassador to France claimed Israeli strikes killed at least 14 Iranian scientists and engineers. It's just a terrible toll.
It truly is. And the ripples went further, didn't they? Affecting global markets, travel.
Yeah, the oil price thing was interesting. You'd expect prices to spike, but they actually dropped, even below pre-war levels.
It's counterintuitive, isn't it? Maybe markets betting on a quick resolution or that the Strait of Hormuz wouldn't be severely disrupted. Hard to say for sure.
And travel got hit hard. Flights canceled, affecting airports in Qatar, the UAE.
Major hubs right across the Gulf from Iran. And diplomatically, everyone was scrambling. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio reportedly working on getting Americans out of Iran.
Trying to arrange passage through Turkmenistan, was it? And talking peace with Italy?
A lot of diplomatic channels buzzing. The international community mostly welcomed the ceasefire, urging everyone to stick to it. The UN, Pakistan, India, Turkey.
China too, right? Iran's biggest trading partner. They backed Iran's sovereignty, hope for a real ceasefire.
Understandable, given their reliance on Iranian oil. President Trump seemed to okay China continuing those purchases, interestingly.
Egypt and Iran also reportedly talking de-escalation. But then you had France worrying this might just push Iran's nuclear program further underground.
That's the constant underlying fear, isn't it? The nuclear dimension. And the IAEA chief underscored that, saying inspectors urgently need access again to verify Iran's stockpile, especially that 60% enriched uranium.
Which is very close to weapons grade.
Extremely close. It highlights the stakes involved even during a supposed pause in fighting.
So here we are, Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. We've seen this incredibly rapid fight, an equally rapid ceasefire announcement, and then immediate tests of that ceasefire. It feels incredibly fragile.
It does. Very delicate. Lots of international efforts trying to nudge things towards peace, but the trust deficit seems enormous.
Which brings us to the big question, I suppose. When you have this level of deep-seated mistrust and the shadow of nuclear capability is always there, how do you get past just stopping the shooting? How do you build something actually durable?
That's the core challenge, isn't it? Moving beyond a temporary truce to real, lasting peace. It's something we'll all be watching, and frankly, something to really think about as the situation keeps developing.